So I was having my first session with a client today who wanted to really step into a whole new financial level, an income level in her life. And through many of the inner game things we were doing, one of them was that she realized that she didn't quite trust herself, that if she made more money that she would actually manage it well. And this is more of an outer game side of it, but can be very real. Of if you have more money, would you be managing it and handling it in a way that would allow it to come in very fully? So I want to share what I use for myself. I've been using it for years and it's really helped me. I had no financial planning background or knowledge about this stuff. It wasn't something I was taught when I was growing up, but has really helped me to get my money kind of ordered and managed in a way that really works and allows me to feel good about bringing more in because I kind of know where it's going and what's happening with it. I learned this at some workshops called the Millionaire Mind Intensive. So it comes from there, and also a book that I'm really enjoying right now. I might do a review of it a little later, called The Richest Man in Babylon. And the metaphor that I heard used once was, imagine that you're with a young child and you go into a ice cream store and they walk in and they want a scoop of ice cream. And then they see, so you get a scoop of ice cream, and as you're walking out, they tip and fall, and it falls on the ground, and they kind of weren't taking care of it in a way. So the story goes, well, then you walk back in, you're the parent of this child, and they look up, and as they go back in to get another ice cream, they look up and they see the advertisement for the triple scoop, the triple scooper deluxe, and they want to have that. So the question is, do you give it to them? Now, in this metaphor, it goes that no, you wouldn't, because they haven't learned yet how to handle one scoop, so why would you want to give them 3? So this is about actually managing what you have so that when you are ready to bring in triple that or more, it's ready to go. So I want to give you the quick steps. They are the 6 jars, as I was taught. I use 6 accounts in a bank account. I work at a bank at a place where they let me have these different accounts, and I name them. And the idea is that you take every dollar that comes in, you divide it into these percentages. So if it's $10, $100, $1,000, work with $1,000 just as an example. So let's say $1,000 is coming in. This is how it's going to be broken up into these different accounts so that you have a clarity about where your money is going and what it can be used for. So that you're not overspending here or underspending there, or not using it to enjoy or not saving it. Like it gives you some real parameters for it. So the first, and this is going to be your biggest chunk, is going to be 50 to 55%, and I'll show why the 55% later, is what we just call N for your necessities. So your necessities, of course, your food, your shelter, whatever, the category, the way I like to think about this is whatever you can't live out without for 6 months. So, it's different things that might seem extravagant or that are not necessities. You can just check, could I live without this for 6 months? And if so, then it's probably not a necessity, and we'll go in a different category. So that's 50 to 55%. Most of the other ones are going to be at the 10% mark. So 10% for this next one is one of my favorites, and that goes into education, or simply further learning. So this is your learning jar. So this goes into putting money away for whatever further education looks like to you, whether that's taking a course, whether that's taking a class of some sort, whether it's investing in some audio training or video training, or hiring a coach, whatever is kind of its education and learning aspect to you that's enhancing, that's growing. So that's 10%. So the next 10% would go towards what we call, this is an FFA account. This account was revolutionary to me and has proven to be very, very important. FFA stands for Financial Freedom Account. So this 10% is going there, which is, if you think of the metaphor of a golden goose, where you have a goose that lays golden eggs, and it continues to lay golden eggs as long as you're just feeding it and taking care of it. Now, if you've heard that story before, sometimes it's told where the person had the golden goose and they wanted to go in and find out where, I want to get all the eggs at once. So they killed the goose, opened it up, and sure enough, there's not any eggs inside. And what they've done is they've killed their golden goose. Instead of letting it produce more eggs for them, they're kind of done with it. So this 10% is money that goes put away that you use. You never spend this money. This money is used as an investment into something that pays interest and dividends, or some way lays golden eggs for you. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go into what those investments are. There's a whole world that you can study about that. But just even putting it away, so you start to accrue, you start to build this basket of what is, or build this goose, let's say, so it can start to lay golden eggs for you. And then that would filter back into here, be split up again, some of it reinvest in, some of it into necessities and different things. All right, so from there, we go to one of my favorites, which is the giving jar. Okay? Now this, I would say, depends on who you want to be and how you'd like to live in life. This is either 5 to 10%. Okay? Depends on your necessities and depends on how much you'd like to give. One of my favorite frames about this, if you've ever come across the concept of tithing, it has a religious context, but it's basically giving 10% of your money, in that case, back to the church. Now, I read a book called The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, I think it's called, or Four Laws of Prosperity. And Edwin Gaines is the author. And she said something that has forever changed my life around this concept. She said, instead of thinking of tithing as giving to a religious organization or a charity, you give this 10% to wherever you receive spiritual nourishment. Nourishment of some sort, which it could be a street musician, which could be a waitress that particularly does a good job and lights up your life. Could be a child, could be a friend of yours. Whoever it is, I've received these from clients before when they just feel extra inspired for some reason. But it's however you'd like to contribute to. I give to some of my mentors, to people I've studied with even years ago that I realize are still impacting my life, and so I send them a check that's based out of this account. So the next piece, so I love that one. The next piece is called LTS, or I call it long-term spending. So this is something that's a bigger ticket item, and this is also 10%. So this would be something like if you're working towards getting a car or a new computer or maybe a home, something that's a larger investment. If you are interested in a video setup so you can shoot videos in your house, whatever it might be, that goes in this fund. And I like to name it for what it is for me. My recent purchase was a new table tennis paddle, like a professional level, which can get expensive. But I just got it because I accrued this money in my account. So that might be, I'd like to label it, or it might be a trip. Let's say it's something that you're building up for a vacation of some sort. So that goes in that 10%. And the last, and this was the hardest one for me, based on my background with money, which is 10% into what they call the play jar. So this is 10% of your income that you put aside simply to enjoy. And one frame that really struck me about this money is here to help you experience and feel prosperous. So if you were to go, I remember this being taught to me at the workshop, they said it this way: instead of, let's say, going to a massage and you get some $80 or $100 massage, you walk in and say, I want 2 masseuses with the cucumbers and the seaweed wrap and the mud bath. Thank you very much, and I like it now. You don't be bossy about it, but you can do that so you just feel like you are the richest person in the world. You are king or a queen for that moment. Last night I did this where some friends were coming in from out of town, and I treated them royally to beautiful, we actually went to 2 different restaurants because I had 2 I wanted to take them to. I love doing this, by the way, of going to one restaurant and we order like a few appetizers and 1 entree, and then we go to another restaurant and order another few appetizers and an entree or 2. So we get to experience both cuisines and both ambiance, and it just extends the evening. It's really beautiful. So, and just as a way to invite them, and I treated the whole evening, and it felt great. I loved giving it to them, and I felt very prosperous at the same time, and it's a great thing to do with my friends. So whatever that looks like to you, that might be some new clothing, that might be a vacation of sorts, that might be some fun, extravagant thing, a whitewater rafting cruise, whatever it might be, that this allows you to feel like you're playing with it and you're enjoying your money. Because what is it for if not to have the lifestyle you want, to be able to contribute the things that you are important to you, and ultimately to have the overall just well-being and lifestyle that's important. So here's the $1,000 into all these, so you can do the math. Necessities, education and learning, financial freedom account, the giving or tithing, long-term spending, which you label as what you're going to spend it on, and the play jar. So I hope this works for you. Go set it up. And do it right away. Even if it's $10 you're putting in at first, or 100, or 1,000, or 10,000. This will give you a structure, and you know exactly where you want to go, so you have what you want to spend, and you're clear about it. So I hope this supports you. Go forth, serve more people, make a living while making a difference, and live optimally. All right, be well.